This is one of my most intimidating Lego sets I own, and when you find out why, you're probably going to agree with me. If you're a Lego collector, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, I'm Paul, and welcome back to Build and Bond, where we talk about bricks and bond about our experiences together as casual fans or even collectors. This is set 60440, and it's kind of a MacGuffin because I say it's the most intimidating set, or one of the most intimidating sets I own. In fact, it's one of many, and I'm going to show you some of those during this video. What do they all have in common? They're sets that I'm glad I have them, but no matter what the price point, I can't quite bring myself to open them up. You know, it's kind of silly, right? I mean, we spend time collecting these, we buy them, we spend good money on them. I think I got this actually paid full retail for this when it came out because I was worried that I wouldn't get one. And now I just don't want to open it because time has gone by and they're becoming more and more rare. Have you ever had that feeling with anything that you've collected? I remember as a kid, it was like, I remember baseball cards and hockey cards. For me, also Star Wars cards from the first movie. I have friends who are into porcelain and bike accessories and you name it, right? People collect everything. And when you have that special thing that you love, you just can't bear to open it. And that's definitely what's happened here. There's a couple more reasons. So let's take a look at this set, though, and what it represents. And maybe that's part of why I can't open it. So I think the journey starts really with, why do you want this set? Why did I want this set in the first place, this particular set? So this one, just so you know, retailed for just under $100, $99.99, I think is what I paid. And, you know, for 1,061 pieces, it's a really good value for that price, I think. It's really in that sweet spot. But it's not really about that, and it's not really about the fact that I don't love trucks. I don't collect Lego trucks necessarily. It's what this represents for me that I think is the magic of this particular set and why I wanted it, and also why I'm scared to open it. But I'll get more to that in a second and show you all the other stuff that I have, that some highlights of things that I have that I just can't bear to open. So this set depicts, you know, a Lego truck making a delivery of tons and tons of sets. And I mean, my gosh, wouldn't you just if you love Lego, wouldn't you just love if that happened? This truck just rolled on up to your house and just people started piling stuff in. I would figure out what to do with the flats. I definitely would. I'd figure out a way to store them in the limited space that I have, just for the joy of that. So I guess when I talk about it, that's really what it represents to me, is the joy of building and the joy of having sets and bringing them home. I guess that's what it is, right? It's bringing them home is such an emotional thing. Gosh, I guess that's what this means for me. Why don't I open it then? Right? If that's part of it, then I guess I have to talk about why I don't open it. I don't open it because I love prolonging that expectation, that knowing that what's in here is going to be so cool. I'm going to enjoy it so much. And, you know, it's funny, at the time, I thought this was definitely going to come and go real quick. And it's still available, actually. But I still feel like I don't really want to buy two, but I love having this one in my collection. One of the other things that I think is really fun about this, that intrigues me so much, is that for the amount of pieces that are in this set, the box is really large. So if you know, you know, right? Sometimes you don't need this big of a box or a carton to have this many pieces. But what's interesting, it's also incredibly heavy, like far heavier than I would have expected a set like this to be. So that gives me the intrigue factor. Like that alone makes me like curious about this set and wanting to put it together. I know, it's a little bit crazy. I'm going to come back to more about this set and what it represents for me, but let's talk about some of the other sets that I have in my collection that I can't bring myself to open up, if you're ready for that. As I was thinking about what they could be, I realized my list was getting really, really long, and so here's a small version of that list. So some things that are quite recent. Number one for me is Tudor Corner. It's still available, and it was a nice price point. But the more I looked at it, the more I fell in love with it. I think it's so cool. And for me, it has an emotional attachment. I was in the UK this summer, and I had a chance to go to a place that felt just like this. I wasn't expecting that. I already had bought the Tudor Corner. But I walked into this place, and it was like, oh, this is like, I get why the designers made Tudor corner look like this. It looks exactly like it should. I thought it was genius. And so for that reason, for sentimental reasons, I don't want to open it. I don't know if that's crazy or not. One of the sets that came out last year on the Bricklink program, which is the Paris Street. I think that's very cool. And for me, I guess maybe this isn't really being intimidated. It's more that I know that it's going to hold value and that it is rare. So, forget that. That doesn't even go with this video. What am I talking about? I do have the Mona Lisa, and I want to put that together. And so I love the other art pieces that I've had and that I've put together, but that one I just haven't got around to. And I think for me, it's because that one is going to be kind of a commitment of my time, and I want to really enjoy it, and I want to really just sit down and really have a cup of coffee and play and build and just zone out and listen to some amazing music and just be with it. And that time hasn't presented itself. And I think finding the time to do it properly is another thing that really is intimidating about putting sets together. If you're a big fan of Lego, sometimes you know what that feels like, right? You don't want to ever feel rushed to put a set together. You want to build it because it's you time, right? And that's a luxury to have. And so finding time to do that set, because it's a large set, justice, that's a reason I'm intimidated by it. I do have a couple of older sets, and I'm going to mention a couple that I just can't bring myself to open. One of them is the AT-AT, the Ultimate Collector Series. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I have been my whole life. I love Star Wars so much. And this is such an amazing looking model, but it intimidates me to open it up because it looks really complex, and can I be honest? It looks like maybe a little repetitive in places. If you've built this, please let me know in the comments. Assuage my fears and make me feel like I just want to dive in again, because I've held on to it now. I bought it for myself as a special treat. Expensive, right? And so again, once I open it, I know it loses value as a collector, but also, am I going to get that much enjoyment out of building it? I'm not really sure about that. So I'm a little intimidated by that part of it. And then I do have one that I put on my list to talk about, which is the Resistance Transport, and it's part of the Galaxy's Edge Disney Star Wars collaboration. And I bought that the minute it came out, before I'd even had a chance to even think about booking a trip to go to ride that ride. And I thought it was really interesting and unique. And once I rode it, now I have this emotional connection to that particular set, and I can't bring myself to open it, because it's immediately, that magic then is going to dissipate the minute I break the seal on that box. So I guess, what are we getting at here? What is this weird emotional connection that we have with our Lego sets? Am I alone in that? Do you feel the same way sometimes? That's why we're having these conversations. So we talked about waiting for the perfect moment. I was thinking about all the things that make me intimidated about opening a set. Another thing, though, is that it just looks so nice and clean in the box. Like, for me, that's so much easier for me to store them and move them around and make room for new sets when they come in. Sets I probably shouldn't be buying. But when you open them up and have them out, it's harder to move them around, and you got to keep them clean, and you're not dusting them the same way. So there's more of a commitment, I think, once you open it in a way. Other thing that I have to say is this one now has sparked such thoughtfulness in me, such memories in me, that I have an anticipation around it, and that opening it up and building it and seeing it come to life might not actually live up to that expectation. So I'm kind of juggling a little bit between, do I want to really open this? Like, my vision of what the experience is going to be like and what this set's going to be like is really strong. Will this set be able to match that now? After all of this time that I've spent thinking about it, could it possibly be that good? It's kind of like, when you go to a restaurant that you wanted to go to for a long time, and you finally get in, or someone finally takes you, and then you're like, can it possibly live up to the hype? It's like when you see a movie that's been hyped and hyped and hyped and hyped, and everyone loves it, and you're the last person to go and see it, and you're like, it can't possibly live up to the expectations. Whereas if you just opened it immediately when you first got it, you would have just enjoyed it thoroughly. But I think I've set myself up for a bit of failure on this one. And on the other sets too. Isn't that crazy? Does anybody else have that feeling, or am I just out here on my own? Anyway, thanks for letting me talk to you about why sets like this intimidate me, and for visiting and watching this far. We really appreciate you here at the channel, and please do subscribe if you have not, and like and comment, even better. Let me know in the comments what your set is if you have one that you're waiting for the perfect moment to build, or that you're intimidated to open for any of the reasons that I talked about. I'd love to hear with you. You know, at Build and Bond, it's building more than just bricks. We're making this community together. We all love Lego. We love watching Lego come together. We love building it. That's why we're here. If you have this set, let me know. If you don't have any Lego sets, don't worry about it. When you come here, you got this. All right. Thanks for joining me. Maybe I will. Maybe I've talked myself actually into building this. I might open it. Although knowing me, I'll probably just make sure that I can get a second one on eBay first. Cheers, guys.